Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. I hope you all are doing well. It is match day, Everton facing Dynamo Kyiv later on this evening at Goodison Park in our final pre-season fixture before the start of the Premier League season next Saturday. Everton, of course, taking on Chelsea next Saturday at Goodison Park, but before that, we will play in our final pre-season / charity game tonight against Dynamo Kyiv at Goodison. Potentially an opportunity for us to see new signings, Ruben Vinagre and Dwight McNeil in action. And for a lot of people, this will be the first time they'll have watched Everton since probably the game against Crystal Palace. Obviously, a lot of Blues travelled up to London for the last game of the season. There's a lot of Blues at Blackpool last week as well, and there was a fair few over in the States over the last couple of weeks as well. However, for a lot of Blues who were unable to make the away games and obviously unable to make the trip over to America, this will be the first time watching Everton at Goodison Park since that game against Crystal Palace. And of course, it is the first time Everton have played at Goodison Park since that game as well. So exciting for that sense. I can't wait to be back at Goodison Park because it has been a long couple of months. Don't get me wrong, it was a much needed break, and a break that I'm very certainly not complaining about. And to be honest, if we had an extra month or two break, I probably wouldn't be complaining either. But the feeling that we all felt on that night of the Crystal Palace game, especially when Dominic Calvert-Lewin headed the third goal in, was certainly one that I think a lot of people will have not lived before and maybe will never relive as Evertonians, certainly myself personally. And as I said on the night, I hope to never ever have to go through that, but the sheer joy and emotion just excitement and relief that I felt when Dominic Calvert-Lewin headed that third goal in, and then when the final whistle was blown, I hope to feel that emotion again. Just hopefully it's Everton winning a trophy rather than Everton surviving relegation. But as I said, that was all the last time, that all happened the last time we were sat at Goodison watching Everton play football. So, it'd be good to get back there. Obviously, this is a charity game. I believe there's 2,000 Ukrainians that are currently living on Merseyside that have been invited to the game tonight. That'll obviously be there to support Dynamo Kyiv. Funds, of course, going to the Ukrainian humanitarian appeal, I believe, which is fantastic stuff. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Of course, Everton have done a lot recently, to help out Ukraine and everything that's going on over there, which is absolutely devastating and heartbreaking. And this game is another example of that work that is going into place to try and help in any way, shape that we can. And as well as that, it's a game of football, and it's a game of football that Frank Lampard and his team will want to win. Although it's, again, as I said, a little bit different to a typical pre-season game in the sense of, what's going on behind the scenes and the actual reason for playing Dynamo Kyiv in this game. Aside to all of that, it's a game of football, and it's our final pre-season game before the Premier League season starts again, and in what will be a really, really important season for Everton upcoming. There's a lot of worry, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of nervousness, I think, going into this season because of how poorly we performed last season and because of how close we were to, dropping down into the Championship. So coming into this season, obviously prior to the last 24 hours when we announced the signings of Ruben Vinagre and Dwight McNeil, we'd only officially signed James Tarkowski. And as I said, there was a lot of nerves and a lot of worry going into the season. I think there very much still is, because I still think there's a large selection of the Everton fan base, me included, who aren't happy with the three that we've signed. Not necessarily that we aren't happy with the three, but if we were going into the Premier League season with just these three, then, I don't think it would be quite suitable. Yes, there's talk of Idrissa Gueye coming back, there's talk of Ross Barkley, there's talk of a couple of other players, and, maybe if those deals go through, we'll be looking at a different situation. But certainly at the moment, we do seem quite, lightweight, shall we say, going into the season next week. And as I said, this game is important because it's our final pre-season game. It's a final chance to look at, the squad as it is, maybe a different system, a different style. It'll be interesting to see what Frank Lampard goes with today. Will Ruben Vinagre start? I would assume that Vitaly Mykolenko will start this game and probably be captain of Everton, given the situation and given the fact that he's playing his former club. And obviously the game is is being set up to help out, Ukraine, and Vitaly Mykolenko, of course, has been a big part of that since he's been at Everton Football Club. But hopefully we still do get to see Ruben Vinagre in some form, whether it be coming off the bench or whether it be playing in a little bit of a forward role. And then Dwight McNeil as well. Will he start? Will we see him come off the bench? Obviously, he's only been at Everton for 24 hours or so. So I'm sure he'll feature in some form, but will it be starting or will it be, as I said, for the final 15-20 minutes? We don't know. And at the end of the day, as I said, listen, I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, we best win this tonight." It's a pre-season friendly. It's a charity game at the end of the day. If we don't win, it's not the end of the world. I don't think there'll be many Evertonians leaving Goodison Park in tears if we don't manage to win tonight. However, what I would say is the aim and I think the message from the manager and from the coaching staff will be to go out and win. We've just had the good win last weekend against Blackpool 4-2 after a couple of really disappointing results over in the United States. So, this is our fourth and final pre-season game, and our last pre-season game last summer didn't go particularly well against Manchester United at Old Trafford, and the hope will be that this one, goes in our favour. We get a win, we get a bit of confidence up. The players, feel good to be back out there at Goodison and feeling the atmosphere. I'm sure the atmosphere will be fantastic tonight. There are still tickets available, by the way. If you haven't got a ticket and you're sitting there thinking, "Oh, I wish I could go," there's still tickets available on the Everton website, so get over there and go and get yourself one. But it will be, it'll be nice to be back, as I said, and to experience Goodison again. Obviously, it'll be completely different next week against Chelsea. I fully expect a coach greeting. In fact, there is a coach greeting because it's already been arranged, and all the typical sort of stuff that we saw towards the back end of last season. And that's obviously not going to happen tonight. But I still think the atmosphere will be good. I still think the songs will be in full flow. We saw all of the videos from the game against Blackpool where the Evertonians were in full voice. I mean, you could hear them for pretty much 90 minutes. So I'm sure it will be the same again tonight at Goodison, and I'm just hoping to see a better performance. I'm hoping to see a performance of a team that look like they are ready to start a Premier League season. Now, obviously, it's difficult because we're playing against a team that obviously don't play in the Premier League, so the competition is difficult to match up against in regards to the comparison between Dynamo Kyiv and a Premier League team. But Dynamo Kyiv did only play a couple of days ago in a Champions League qualifier, by the way, so I dare say there'll be a number of players in that Dynamo Kyiv team that have only just played a game of football and will either be in need of a rest or obviously will be coming off of the back of a Champions League qualifier a few days ago. So, as I said, it'd be interesting to see the levels of fitness of our team. Don't get me wrong, I was impressed by the game against Blackpool. However, obviously understanding that we were playing a championship team. Again, the Blackpool team we played was majority filled with ex-Everton academy graduates who weren't good enough to play for Everton, so it makes absolute sense that we beat them on the day. Whereas in America, we looked unfit, we didn't look good enough. But again, you could say that was only the first couple of weeks of pre-season. So this is the last pre-season game now, and the week before we play a really, really difficult opener against Chelsea at Goodison. So I'm hoping that tonight we get to see a bit of sharpness, we get to see a bit of fitness. If Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets a chance, he takes it. There's that sharpness in front of goal. If Dwight McNeil gets on, he shows us what he can do, what he can bring. Same with Ruben Vinagre. I want to see Nathan Patterson up close and personal again because I wasn't at Blackpool and he was brilliant against Blackpool, but I've only got that to compare of what he was like against Minnesota, and he was really, really poor then. So this is almost the game where, although the result doesn't matter, and as I said, I don't think anybody will be leaving Goodison tonight crying their eyes out if we don't win, the performance matters for me. And I don't want to be sitting here again tonight doing an instant match reaction saying we look sluggish, we looked off the pace, we don't look fit enough, we don't look quick enough, the systems don't look like they're in place. Frank seems like he doesn't really understand what he wants because we're a week away from the Premier League season starting, and once the season starts, it's go, 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 go then. And, we want to have as good a start as we possibly can. I believe the game is being streamed on Everton's website for season ticket holders and official members, and I actually think Dynamo Kyiv's official YouTube channel is streaming it as well. Now, I don't know whether you'd be able to watch it in this country because I don't know whether it's been location locked, but if it hasn't, then you won't even need to go on evertonfc.com. You'll just be able to go on YouTube and watch it, and if you've got a VPN, then I'm sure you can do that anyway. But as I said, it'll be good, it'll be exciting. As I said, it'd be good to get back to Goodison Park. A couple of new faces we'll get to see as well. First time a lot of Blues will have seen James Tarkowski. Of course, first time these players will have experienced Goodison Park as well. Tarkowski's never experienced Goodison. Obviously, Dwight McNeil and Ruben Vinagre haven't either. And it'd be good to see those players make their, well, certainly Vinagre and McNeil make their debut and hopefully get the reception that they deserve, because they're Everton players and they don't deserve anything less than our support and our backing, because they've not shown us a reason that they don't deserve that yet. Whether or not we're over the moon with the signings, whether or not we believe that they'll be unbelievable additions to the squad, it's only fair that we get behind them and we support them and we show that support, and I firmly believe we will. It'll also be good to see Dele back in action. Obviously got a couple of goals last Sunday. Be interesting to see what that's done for his confidence. Everton released today that he's taking the number 20 for next season. So obviously a change of number, which would suggest he'll be staying at the football club, which would suggest maybe he'll be playing a more prominent role. Interesting that he went for number 20 rather than number 8, which makes me believe that there's somebody else that will be coming in that could take the number 8, which is interesting. But overall, as I said, it's exciting. It's exciting to be back. It's exciting to make that walk back the ground. It's exciting to get back in the pubs. Even though last season was so horrible and horrifying and anxious and nervous, the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season were what it means to be an Evertonian, and that Palace game was exactly what it means to be an Evertonian. Hopefully we never have to go through it again, but the emotion, the feeling, the joy after it was excellent, and as I said, I think it sort of sparked a little bit of a fire in a lot of Blues hearts, is like, this is what this means to us, and we've got to make this known that this means this much to us even when we're not in the shit. And I think that's why you're starting to see Spirit of the Blues sang constantly and Goodison Gang sang constantly, and that's because the last few weeks of the season really ignited a fire in, I think, all of our hearts, as to actually, do you know what, this is our fucking football club and we're not going to let these players drag us down. We're not going to let these players take us down and have us relegated. We're going to fight for this football club. And once we've done that, I think we all sort of got this feeling of, actually, I quite like this. I quite like turning up at the ground 2 hours before the game to welcome the players in. I quite like constantly singing for 90 minutes. I quite like us winning games of football. So don't get me wrong, it'll obviously be very, very different tonight because it's a very different circumstance, but I still think there'll be a good atmosphere. And, as I said, it's a good test. Kyiv are a decent side. Obviously a side that I've gone through a lot in recent weeks and months, which is, completely out of their control. But I'm excited to see what we can bring. I'm excited to see what Frank Lampard brings. Whether or not there'll be a different system, a different style, who will start, as I said, what formation will he go with? Will he go with Dominic Calvert-Lewin as a sole striker? Will he have Dele up there with him? Will Damari Gray or Anthony Gordon start? Will we see Dwight McNeil starting, or will he come off the bench? There's a lot of questions that obviously we'll find out the answers to at 6:45 tonight, an hour before kick-off. But it's an opportunity to ultimately see where we're at a week before the season starts, which I think is the most important thing. Let's get into some of the comments then. Chenlar says, where are you sitting? I'm in the Park End. I've actually got a ticket for the Gladys seat, but it's a bit up in the arms at the moment because there's something else going on that I can't say. But I've got a ticket in the Gladys seat. I'm not usually in the Gladys seat. Ariel says, nice meeting you over in Baltimore, Cam. Nice meeting you, my mate. Thank you very much for the chat, and thanks to everybody that come up to us in America and said hello or had a chat with us or had a pint with us or whatever. It was a truly unbelievable experience, and one that I hope to be able to do again in November in Australia, but depends on the bank. I hope the Toffee says, Philip, Wormy says, dear God, we're going to sign Barkley. What's the point of Thelwell to sign all these shit players? Machete wants that, Brands wouldn't let him sign it. Listen, there's been rumours about Ross Barkley. There's been nothing from any of the so-called sort of top sources, your Athletics, your Fabrizio Romanos and stuff like that. But I said it yesterday, and I will say it again. I would be very, very, very surprised. And this isn't coming from me having any inside knowledge. This isn't me being told anything. I've not been told anything that you haven't been told. But I would be very, very, very surprised if Ross Barkley is an Everton player by the end of this transfer window. That's what I'll say. Isn't an Everton player, by the way, which means I think he will sign. Barks looking close, says Mike. I agree, Wormy. Wormy says, honestly, the most idiotic football club in existence. Keep signing players who were overhyped and have never actually done anything. Kayla says, hey Cam, it's going to be my first time going to Goodison. Can't wait. I got my tickets sent to my phone. Can I just sort my phone, or do I have to print them out? No, you'll be able to scan your phone. It'll have a QR code on it and you'll be able to scan it. If you've got an iPhone, you can actually add it to your Apple Wallet, which is what I do. And you basically just add it and then you scan your phone like you would with a ticket. You don't have to print it out. You can use your phone, says Chenlad. Enjoy the game. Is right, mate. Ahmed says, do you think McNeil will play? I hope so. Whether or not he starts is obviously a different question. But I certainly hope we get to see him. I hope we get to see all three new signings. I'm sure we'll see Tarkowski. Obviously, we've seen him a number of times already, so I've got no stresses about that. But I hope to see Vinagre and I hope to see McNeil as well, because, it'll be good for them to get that first Goodison experience. It'll be good for them to get that debut. And McNeil will be wanting to go out, and certainly McNeil, because I think Vinagre's in a different situation, but McNeil will be wanting to go out and make an impression so that Frank Lampard looks at him ahead of next week and goes, actually, do you know what? You might be worth a start on Saturday against Chelsea. So I hope so. Kayla says, thank you. Phil says, in the park end tonight if I can get me ticket to download. McNeil 1 assist, 0 goals. Barkley 0 assists, 0 goals. Batshuayi same. Vinagre same. I can see a pattern emerging, says Wormy. Yeah, listen, I get it. McNeil's stats last season in terms of goals and assists don't look very good. In fact, they're not very good. They're average, and they're very poor. And I'm not sitting here defending him for that, because as an attacking winger, that isn't acceptable. However, I do want to bring your attention to the fact that Dwight McNeil attempted 111 crosses last season, and I think 97 of them were successful, which meant that they landed in the area that they were intended for. Now, that is significantly more than any other Everton player did. Now, again, it's stats, and it's this, and it's that, and it's tit for tat, but if Dwight McNeil puts 97 successful crosses into Dominic Calvert-Lewin next season, I think he gets an awful lot more than no assists, personally. But, again, that's all tit for tat. I'm just trying to play a little bit of devil's advocate. Again, I'm not defending the 0 goals, 1 assist, because that's not good enough. Hey, Phil, says Wormy. Coming in hot, Wormy. Agree with you about Barkley, says Hernandez. We ain't winning, says Wormy. Mike says, but the coaching staff will improve them. Jack says Barkley and Ali was once promising stars if they can get back there. Yeah, but again, both significantly older. Both have had a lot of years to get back to that level and haven't, so I'm not convinced neither will, to be honest with you. I support Dele because he's an Everton player, and I'll support Ross if he comes back. But the reality is, we're not going to see the Dele of 2015-16, and we're not going to see the Ross Barkley of 2013-14. We're just not, in my opinion, anyway. Mike says our coaching staff will be wiped out by Christmas. What do you mean by that? Do you mean the manager will be sacked by Christmas, or do you mean just you'll have got rid of the coaching staff? I don't quite know what you mean by that, my mate. Afternoon, says Inky. What's happening? Wormy says it's not negative, it's facts. Should I wind my neck in when we get relegated because we run by an idiot? No, you should. You've got absolutely every right to be worried, and I'm worried, to be honest with you. I'm worried about the coming season, which is why I think it's important that we show tonight that we're ready for it. Mercedes doing my head in. Batshuayi's been spotted in Liverpool with his agents. I don't believe that. I don't believe Batshuayi's been spotted in Liverpool with his agents, considering the rumour from an hour ago was that Everton are only just interested in him. I don't think it'd be that close that he'd be in Liverpool. But maybe they're looking at it and thinking if we get him on a free, provides backup to Dom. Listen, again, I don't want him. I don't think he's good enough. But what is good enough for Everton at this point? Realistically, who are we expecting? Carter says his goal should probably have it. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised, my mate. Jack the Lad says we're only in a relegation battle because that cop-white really think the club be there again with the fan base. Let's hope not. Stephen says yes, Cam, seen all the USA vids, great stuff, bro. Not happy with the price of McNeil. Well, it's only 6-7 million up front, so I'm not too stressed about it, to be honest with you. I actually, and I said it yesterday when in the announcement video, I actually think Dwight McNeil will be a success at Everton. I don't really know why, because his stats don't scream massive success. Even across his multiple years at Burnley. But I've just got this gut feeling that Dwight McNeil at Everton will work. And I might be wrong, and if I am wrong, I'll sit here and I'll say, do you know what? I was wrong about that. But I just have this feeling that Dwight McNeil as an Everton player will work, and hopefully I'm right, because that's what we all want, isn't it? If you are enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. It only takes a second. Will Lampard play the new players to Solomon? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So much for the business review. It's led by Barks and Batshit, says Mike. Well, yeah, the fact that they've done a business review, they've done an in-depth review of their own performance, just shows everything wrong with this football club, doesn't it? It really, really does. They were never going to say, oh, actually, yeah, we're dead shit, so we're going to sack ourselves. That was never, ever going to happen. Give Cam a like, says Basic. Nice one, my mate. Up the top, he says, hi, Cam, love the channel. Keep up the good work. Is right, mate. Thank you very much. Anthony, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to speak to me dad. Hope they don't get injuries, says David. I assume you're talking about Everton. Well, that would be the worst thing to come out of tonight, wouldn't it? Would be if a player gets injured or a player, hurts themselves. And I think that's what Frank Lampard will have to be careful of. I think he'll have to be acknowledged that if he's playing somebody like Yerry Mina, to not play him for more than 45 minutes, given the fact that if he's fit, he will be starting against Chelsea. Same with a couple of other players. Dominic Calvert-Lewin maybe is in that bracket as well. So yeah, that would be the the worst thing that could come out tonight. But listen, it'll be interesting. As I said, I'm excited to see where we are a week away from the Premier League season. I'm excited to see the new lads getting a game, hopefully, featuring in some form, whether that's a start or coming off the bench. We don't know, but I'm sure we'll see them in some form. And I'm excited to see Goodison again and hopefully be back there and, ultimately creating as much noise as we possibly can. Obviously, it won't be anything like that game against Crystal Palace, and it probably won't be anything like Chelsea will be next Saturday, but I'm sure it'll still be a decent atmosphere, and I'm sure that the players will be known that even though it's a pre-season game, even though it's a charity game, we're still there to ultimately to win, and ultimately to show that we're as ready as possible for next week. But there you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Once again, a massive thank you for everybody for getting involved in the live comments. If you're watching the YouTube video, leave your comments down below and we'll get involved with as many of them as we can. We will be back with a reaction later on tonight from the game, so don't forget to join us for that one. That will be live as well, so exciting stuff. But yeah, if you go in the game, enjoy it. If you're watching at home, enjoy it. If you can't go to the game and you want to go to the game, there's still tickets available, so go and grab them. But anyway, big thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new. Up the toffees. Come on. And we'll see you after. Nice one for watching. See you later.